What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your reading for June 28th. Nope, June 8th. June 8th for your daily creative reading. So we're going to dive in. I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, let's do this. Let's see where we go. Let's see what the day has in store. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for June 8th, please? Whale of a time, your charge is to enlarge. I think I saw that, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before. It was just such an evocative image, like coming out and then sploosh. That's the technical term for splash, right? Whale of a time. Your charge is to enlarge. Eyes on the prize. Trust the guidance of your North Star. Yeah. That's quite lovely, actually. That is quite lovely. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives? Time for a quantum leap. Prepare for a makeover. I like that a lot. Some new energies coming in. But again, it's like this, the energies of, afloat and afoot this week have been great so far. I'll show you the book that has continued to come up. This is my really old copy. I have a new copy, but of course I can't find it. So this is my old copy. This is the book that I keep referring to, Women Who Run with the Wolves. I feel this sort of it's like the wild woman archetype, but I feel like it's this, stepping into our wildness, right? Like this fully embodied sensual aspect of ourselves that is not only, embodying and embracing, not only embracing the spiritual being that we are, but also equally embracing the human experience that we're having for all of the light that it brings us as well. 222 on the time, right? So let's pull the spread for the day and see where this takes us, shall we? Let us away. Let us away. Let us away. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? Page of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. Justice. Ten of Swords just went bloop and plopped out there. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit of there's something that you're just like, ugh, and it's just done, right? Like you don't have to think about it more. You don't have to process it more. It's just done, right? Let me move this away from the wall. It's a nice color though. It's a lovely color, but I would imagine that you would want to see more of the table for the reading. Seven of Pentacles. That was two. So we have the Fool and the Three of Pentacles. Ooh, taking a risk on working with others, some collaboration. We'll see, because it's in the antagonist position though. Four of Cups, Two of Wands, Empress, Ten of Cups. And this little Ace of Wands keeps popping out through every reading. I feel like that is this book though, right? Like that is legit this book anyway, that's all an aside. So I feel like you're showing up in this beautiful energy. Two of Pentacles is a little bit indecisive, but in this particular iteration of it, I see you as showing up in terms of seeing yourself reflected in the beauty around you. And that is really powerful. Seeing yourself reflected in the beauty around you. There's something to this, and that how do we stoke the flames within us through this process, through doing this 444 on the time? This is how we stoke that fire, is this grounded energy and clarity, right? Clarity. And I feel like we are integrating the lessons from yesterday or the day before when this showed up, because it's the swords that showed up if it in the position of things that could become a tower if they're not addressed or dealt with or tended to. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're doing that. Let me do this so that you can see the cards on the table here. I do this every reading. I'm like, oh, sunshine. But yeah, I feel like you're tending to this energy here. And you're tending to it in a way that's allowing you to come into this place of integrity within yourself, right? Like you're very clear about what you want. I feel like Emperor vibes on that one. Strangely enough, this is Libra. So, and Libra rules the 7th house as well, which is long-term contracts and it's that time that I feel like this is this energy to me is about coming into integrity with yourself, but being very clear. Like there's certain things, there you are, you're showing up in this little, and like the things you can't unsee. And this is expansive energy too. So this could be around the full moon in Sagittarius. Something might become more clear to you because of the moon energy in there. And the Queen of Swords is showing up here in this really beautiful energy as well. Just this absolutely stunning energy because it's grounded and it's clear, right? Like you're seeing, these are different variations. Like you're seeing parts of yourself, like you're showing up in this, on this like bridge of, I guess, a consciousness energy, right? So you're seeing yourself almost projected outwards, and it's like you're seeing yourself split into this, like you're seeing this old part of you die away, and you're kind of seeing yourself step into this new integrous place from within you. And this 2 of Pentacles energy to me is really about seeing yourself in it's almost like the Course in Creativity lessons, right? Like seeing yourself in everything because you're seeing through the eyes of spirit. Like you're seeing through the eyes of that source energy. So it's so deeply and profoundly connected for you that you're seeing yourself in the world around you, and you're seeing the world around you in you. So it's this beautiful exchange where like you walk past the rose and the scent of the rose can't help but caress your shoulders and your face as you walk past it, because you are one with it. So it is resonating at that same frequency as you. And that's beautiful energy to start this off. And also that's kind of how that fiery energy within us, let me move this up here a bit so you can see it. There we go. That's kind of how this fiery energy in us gets stoked and moves forward and helps us to gain momentum on things. Is like we first have to see that in ourselves and vice versa. We first have to see it around us and in that space around us, right? And it's like you're made of the same stuff. You're made of that same vibration and frequency. And it's actually, I'm just noticing this here. There's like droplets of water on it too, which can be emotion. It's like that, the gentle caress of emotion when you see yourself reflected in the world around you like this. And then the 10 of Swords, this is the tower. If it goes unaddressed, this could be the tower, right? This could become a tower if we're not tending to and caring for our energy. And I feel like there's like, it's not so much an ending, but this is just like the things that you're just done with. Like, why still bother with them, right? Like this to me strikes me more of like, it strikes me more as the energy of, you like, I'm not sure, like just beliefs and little things that we carry with us, even though they're just well and done, right? They're well and done and over, but we still carry them in our vibration with us because we have this fundamental belief that we just have to. And it's really just like, it's like, I'm thinking of my friend. I called my friend today, and we were talking about whether we should do dinner tonight because they were going house hunting and all of this stuff. And I was saying, well, I can meet you halfway. And she said, well, no, we're going in like the dramatically wrong direction. Like dramatically. It's not just a little bit. It's like dramatically the wrong direction. She's an Aries and I adore her. She's, oh my God, so good. If you're watching this, hi, Steph. But this is like that, like dramatically wrong direction, right? Dramatically. Like it's just, and it's like little stuff I'm getting that doesn't need to be seen that way. And that can really become a tower, right? Like it's just, this is also indicative of not tending to our energy in the first place, or ways that we are out of balance or outside of integrity with ourselves. So when we're outside of integrity with ourselves, what we can sometimes get into is this place where we feel imbalanced and everything small things feel like big things because we're not inside our own energy in a way that is, boundaried and saying this is where this ends and this is where I begin, this is where you begin, this is where I begin, and like there's the ending in there, right? And just that boundaried way of existing. So it's almost like it's connected to that, but that's also part of your fire too, right? Because if somebody is crossing boundaries all the time and you're not telling them, then how do they know? Two, if somebody is if you are sometimes that fire, the way I'm seeing it is like a torch, right? You're holding up a torch and sometimes it attracts bugs like at night, right? Like sometimes it just does. And it's like it just attracts like mosquitoes or flies or things like that, right? So it's just understanding that that's how that can sometimes work if you have this fire burning brightly, and that's why boundaries are really important, right? But I feel like you know this to an extent. The Queen of Swords shows up in readings because of this awareness usually. And then so the protagonist is you doing your work. You just putting the work in, right? And this is like tending to the seeds that you've planted in your life in terms of work and relationships and care, 1111 on the time. This is you putting in the time for yourself. This is you putting in the effort. And it's not an effort of like sweat equity. It's not like that. This is the effort of gentle care, of talking to plants as you prune them, tending to the garden because it's a labor of love, like that kind of thing. Like you're in your lane. This is also you're in your lane, right? And you're just staying there. And I think this is a really good place to be. I think it's like a really great place for you to be. And then this is the protagonist position. This is the antagonist position, where I think taking leaps too fast because we're listening to the voices of others. Like it's almost like there's a direction we want to go, and then there's a ladder that other people say that we should be climbing, and we have to trust ourselves here more than this sort of laddered, is that a word? If it isn't, it is now. This laddered energy, right? We have to trust in this because we can take leaps, but we also don't want to do it out of resistance to this energy either. We don't want to do it out of running towards or away from something. When we take leaps, it needs to be in a clear way for us, in a clean energy, because that's this energy here, because we're so inspired by seeing ourselves reflected. That's not the traditional meaning of the Two of Pentacles, I know, but the way this energy is coming across is very beautiful, right? And this is adaptability too. And we adapt because we see things differently in the world around us. So it's perspective shifts, right? So I think this is a big deal, right? This is a big deal. This is not just like choosing yourself. This is like honoring yourself. Because again, I feel like there's this ladder where like people are saying, no, this is what you have to do and this is what it's supposed to look like. But like you have to climb over people to get there. So it's almost like this is like this hierarchical system when we want something much more nonlinear, right? Or nonlinear, sorry. We want something that's much, that it's power across as opposed to power over. I'm trying to use different ways of wording it, but it's power across, right? Like we want something that's evenly split, that's spread out. But this is almost like this could also just be like taking a leap, but that there's a way that like you've been told you have to go through all of these gatekeepers first. And it's like you're redefining something for yourself. And I think the antagonist position showing up here, the reason why it's here in this way, is because there is something about taking leaps for yourself that might be a little scary. Like it might feel a little bit like you're walking off a cliff. So you may not do it, right? You may not do it, but it's important that you take these leaps for yourself, not because of any kind of way that you're vibrating in accord with this ladder or stepping over people, but because sometimes the people who put themselves on this ladder to be climbed over and to be stepped on because they don't have good boundaries, right? Not all the time. I'm not saying that in a judgmental way because it's very charged, right? And if we're in that place, we can hear it and we go to this place of like, well, how can you say that? It's not from a judgment place, my lovelies. It's really not. Because sometimes systems place us here, right? Like systems place us on these ladders where we believe these things about ourselves. So we then have to step over. That's what, if we are convinced that that's how power works, we believe that this is what it looks like when it's far more like this, right? That's what it is. It's far more like this vibration. So I think it's the antagonist position here is trusting in your vision of power and trusting in your vision of what the expression of that looks like, especially when it's coming from an empowerment or empowered place, when it's coming from within you outward, as opposed to looking outward and then reconfiguring what your power looks like so that it matches what others have or see or say or do or believe, right? So a lot of messages on that one. Wow. But then again, it's like it kind of is reminiscent of this card, because this is the main challenge for the day, right? So this is like that energy of feeling not even led, but and not even pulled really. It's like I'm hearing like brakes grinding, which is, as you can imagine, a beautiful sound in my ear. Um, but it's like something like is grinding to a halt, and I'm seeing like this solar plexus just like slow and kind of, it's like it's turning, it's like slowing down, and it's becoming really it's like dark ink. It was just dropped in water, and it's spreading around the vibrancy of that. So it's like almost like this energy of power right here is like really affecting this ability for you to see the cup that you are in and the size of it. So there's maybe a way that there's like this mirror that other people are holding up, a mirror that isn't, it's like you're seeing a reflection, but it's not this Two of Pentacles where you're seeing the flower. Like you're seeing something about your personal power being reflected back that needs to be adjusted. And honestly, I think that you do get that adjustment, because you find like the the crack of least resistance, or like the hole of the porthole of least resistance. I don't even know, but this is you stepping into an energy of seeing clearly, right? Seeing clearly, but seeing impassioned, seeing with passion, and seeing with that sort of the sense of yourself and your creative power, seeing that with much greater clarity. And I think this is allowing you to plan, to put things into action, right? This is like the stepping stones to get there, to put that into place for yourself. And this Empress energy is the energy that you're stepping into afterwards. And it's almost like you see, like you get to this place where you're seeing, and then it's like, I'm seeing this like change of dress. Like you're, it's like you pull the hood back, like you pull the hood back, and you're unafraid to let everyone see all of you, to let everyone see you. Yeah. To let everyone see you. And I think this is an important energy too, because you go from the queen, like there's queen energy here, into this empress energy, which is major arcana. So it's almost like this is like who you're becoming, who like, and you know, you might think the empress is not like a particularly fiery energy, because we tend to associate it more with like grounded vibration, like grounded vibrationality, grounded energy that's more related to earth signs. But again, like earth signs are intuitive as shit. So I don't, like, people say all the time, like they're about money and process and work, and that's true, but they're also one of the most intuitive signs in the zodiac, like in a totally different way that will blow your mind every time. Right? Like, so we cannot limit our earth sign siblings, right? We cannot do that. We can't do that. But I feel like this is this deep intuitive connection you have, not just to your own process, but to like you're seeing clearer, and it's like you're seeing without. This is like I'm seeing like third eye vision here, and it's not the traditional reading of the Two of Pentacles, I know, but it's the way it's showing up here, because you have like clear vision, clear heart, clear sight, but then this is like clear conscience, and then you have like clairvoyance or clairs, like the higher visions where you see yourself and you see your projections clearly too. So it's almost like there's this beautiful way that all of this is coming together, where you're able to take all of this and put it into this beautiful motion of the Empress. But again, this Ace of Wands keeps showing up, and not without good reason. New opportunities. This is new ideas. This is implementation. This is like seeding light. It's like you're planting seeds, but if you were planting like a torch, that's what this would be, where it's like, and I think torch means something different elsewhere, but like torch just being like almost like a tiki torch of some kind, right? Like you're planting a torch like that. Here we put citronella in them, or they're soaked in citronella because holy mosquitoes in the evening. But like it's almost like it's like a torch like that, like you're It's helping you to see really clearly. And you're doing that for yourself. And this is where it's sort of integrated vision, action, groundedness, fire, all in one. And you're seeing through your third eye, and all of these beautiful things are coming to fruition. And honestly, this 10 of Cups is about total fulfillment. It's about fulfillment because you're integrating all of these wonderful lessons, A, but B, the other side of this too is that there's like this aspect of it that's like, this is exactly what you wanted. You wished for this. This was like the stuff of vision boards coming true. So let's see where this takes us. Okay, you want to come out, Hermit? Gotcha. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for, was that one that was, nope. What messages do you have for my daily creatives for June 8th, please, Spirit? So we have the Hermit, Strength, lots of major arcana on this one. Wow. Okay. The Empress, clarifying the Empress. Yeah. This is like seeding new light. Like the traditional Rider-Waite has the person holding up the torch, right? In the Nine of Wands. And I almost see it as like this defensive energy, but you're still holding a torch. You're holding the torch of stress. You're holding the torch of tension. You're holding the torch of, seeing things from a perspective that isn't in your highest good. You're integrating this. This is the integration of that frustration, that burden into freedom, because the Empress is here too. So it's like this is like some kind of 5D wisdom that you're gaining access to, or you're seeing more clearly. And I think it's not just a sense of confidence, but I think this is a sense of command over yourself. And I often see the Magician as like the 5D way of manifesting with the tools, and you're magnetizing. And then in some ways, not all, and this is saying nothing of Leo, so no, don't get me started with that. I love my Leos. I have Leo on my chart too. But this to me is about manifesting in the 3D, right? Like we're wrestling with things. The eternity, the infinity sign is over top the Magician and this card, which tells me that in a way it's very similar energy in this intuitive reading that just came to me, based on readings I've done before. But this is really about this intuitive sense that you have about how you're manifesting. And it's almost like there's a wisdom that you have about the struggle that you had with manifesting, and you're kind of stepping away from that energy. You're stepping away from that energy, and this is like the manifesting that you want to be doing, right? You want to be in this command of yourself, because the Empress integrates all of the skills of the suits, right? The Empress is like integrating all of the queens. So you have the Queen of Swords, which is clarity, deep clarity, and being unafraid of shining your light, which is the Queen of Wands, and that passionate ambition for what you're doing and being right where you are and so in love with it. You have the Cups, right? The Queen of Cups is that love made manifest through words, actions, heartfelt offerings, embraces, sensitivity, being attuned to people around you and to the connections that are most important to you. This is also integrating the wisdom of the Queen of Pentacles, which is confidence and deep nurturing. The Empress is that deep nurturing as well, but it's also this inner strength that comes from a grounded intuition that is unshakable. So all of these things exist here, and you're integrating these, and you're integrating those skills and those aspects of yourself to magnetize things to you, instead of just kind of wrestling with things in a way that would make you question your confidence and question yourself. Whereas you're relying less on the manifestations of things, and I know that's not, again, this is an intuitive reading here. So it's like the Leo, that it's like there's different ways that you would trust your own manifesting power, and I feel like you're stepping into a new iteration of this. This is like another chapter. Like this is another page of that story, and this is like, you might feel like you don't have enough information, but I feel like that's more of the way that you used to see yourself. And I feel like it's like this kind of went like plopped out here because it was really about you seeing like, this is where you were. This is where you were. But this is where you are. Do you understand the difference and what it took for you to go from a Two of Swords to the Empress and the Hermit? Because I feel like you maybe need to give yourself more credit for where you've been. And end the journey that what it took for you to get there. Like what it took for you to get there. What just happened here? Oh, that's what happened. My shuffling happened. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? So we have the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Two of Wands. Queen of Wands, the Emperor. Yep, that's the Queen of Wands, the Emperor. This is that counterpart energy here for the Empress, right? Like this is knowing what to do and taking action on it. So, you know, you see yourself in the world around you. You have this beautiful perspective of yourself that's healing, that's helpful. You step out of this Four of Cups energy where you're not really sure. This is like suspended in motion because the mirror is like a little bit dingy. Like it's not something about it that's unclear, but then you gain that sense of clarity, right? And it feels like an anomaly. It might feel like an anomaly. Oh, another train's going through town. It might feel like a bit of an anomaly of perspective or vision, but it's actually something that's helping you to plan. And you're doing it in keeping with the Wand's energy, you're really stepping into this sense of power that you have. And that's that wild energy, letting yourself be free not just to dream, not just to wishful think and imagine and be creative in your energy. I'm hearing creative visualization. So that book by Shakti Gawain might be of help to you. There's a creative visualization workbook that I found really equally helpful. So that may be of service or use to you as well as part of this. But this to me is like, this is you seeing what's possible and stepping into that. This is you seeing an aspect of yourself that's now accessible to you. Both integrating that sense of wild energy, right? That wild energy, you're not even taming it. Right? The Emperor is not it's not a tamed energy. It's just an energy that understands where to direct that passion and how, and is very clear about that and unafraid to do it. So that's where that energy comes in, right? So it's almost like you're in this Queen of Wands energy that's really passionate. There's the King of Pentacles. Yeah, the grounded energy. But this is not just grounded energy. I feel like this is you. It's an expression of value. And the Emperor, oh my gosh, so much is coming through. The Emperor has a very good sense of judgment about what's important to them. You don't get to the Emperor because of nothing. Like, it's not like that. I feel like the King of Pentacles here is an expression of what's most important to you, coming out of this perspective shift where you see yourself as the Emperor. And this is what you're able to offer others, is you're able to offer this King of Pentacles version of yourself or aspect of yourself because it's now accessible to you in your energy. It's accessible to you in your energy because you're in this place of justice, this integrous place within yourself where and people might think, well, if you're outside of integrity, then you're lying. No, it can mean that you're trying to do too many things and be too many things to different people, which if you're looking at it in terms of like a black and white, like monochrome view, then yeah, sure, it might be. But sometimes it's not that easy. It's not that, simple, right? There's a nuance to these things when it comes to the ways we view ourselves. And that's how we have compassion for ourselves, right? So keep that in mind too. But this is like an aspect of yourself that you're able to offer and that you want to offer. This is like, it's not just about being your best self. This is like your whole self. But I feel like this is a specific part of you that you feel, is meeting with your fire, and that is meeting with this, I'm hearing activation, but this expression of your energy now. Four of Cups again. Yeah, Four of Cups on the Four of Cups. That's honestly like, and that's really the story of this Four of Cups here, is where you're confused, this confusion about who you are and what you see. Like there's it's like blurry. Like I'm seeing a mirror after a shower. Like it's just, there's condensation on it and all over it. So you can't really see it. You can't really, I'm hearing the word perfunctory. I don't know. Apparently my guides read the dictionary when I sleep. I did that when I was a kid, so I can't even complain. It's right on brand. But this is, I think, an energy for you. This is what's connected to this King of Pentacles, and moving past and beyond this Four of Cups is what is going to help you unlock or better access this King of Pentacles part of you, because the King of Pentacles is an offering energy, right? Like it's not just, mature, established, all that stuff. This is about an energy that you can now offer yourself and others of stability. But you might have been confused about that because you were trying to iron out what stability entailed for you, because you were neglecting to see this Queen of Wands within you, this wild fire, this wild passion, that you needed to integrate properly. And I think that we're told so often, at least I was as a kid, like, my grandmother still up to the point where I transitioned, she would be like, "That's not what a lady says," and I'm like, I beg to differ, because it's that energy of like, be proper, and, don't let this, like, it's just these boxes that we adhere to, specifically women. Like, it's just, like, having been on both sides of that fence, like, I see, like, both worlds, I guess. Like, I see how the gendered expectations do differ. Like, they really do differ. And some people might say too, like, no, they don't. I'm like, it is. You know how much money I spend on eyebrows every month now? None. I spend $0. Do you know how much money I spend on makeup now? None. $0. Do you know how much money? Like, it's like how much we're told to box ourselves in. That's, not everyone's expression of womanhood includes those things. But I'm just saying, I was talking to someone about this the other day, and how it's just like the expectations are so different. They're so different. In terms of like what constitutes proper, and like it's just ugh. Yeah, it's not to say makeup is bad or anything like that. I'm not maligning that at all either. It's just pointing to the expectations and the ways that propriety and like proper is built, and how we can adopt those things to the detriment of our Queen of Wands. Yeah, so Queen of Swords, 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords. These are like, you're getting clear on these little, it's almost like little things that become big things, that become, you see that they're like unnecessary things. Ace of Wands, 4 of Wands. Like the Moon, yeah, this is like, you see them as unnecessary because you realize that it's kind of unfounded. Like, it's stuff that you can't see because the Moon is here, but it just, like, if they're manifestations or things that you can't see, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're on their way. It doesn't mean that they're bad. They're just on their way. This is also contracts and long-term relationships, that kind of thing. Ace of Wands again. This has shown up in every single reading, both of them this week so far. So there really is something about this collective fire that we're tapping back into. This collective fire. And the Moon card is here, I think, just to highlight and emphasize that there are things that you can't see. There are some things that you can't see, but it doesn't mean that they're not coming. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that you need to be in your 9 of Swords about them, because it's really not the case. It's not the case. So we have the Justice card and the 7 of Pentacles, and then we have Judgment, and we have the 8 of Cups that kind of flew back in. Okay, so that's fine. And I just heard it's all part of the journey. So it's all part of the journey. So you just have to trust that. And then we have the 6 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. I think the Hierophant showed up like this in this particular spot a couple of days ago or 2 days ago. I don't know. Anyways, this week. So this sort of integrous, we're staying in our lane, and I think that that's where this sense of integrity is coming from. And staying in your lane can sound like saying can sound like someone saying to you, well, you need to stick with what you know, because that's your bet. Don't go outside of your box. Like, don't go outside of this, like, bleh, right? But this is, to me, more of an energy of when you're inside integrity with yourself, very few things matter the same when it comes to putting in specific amounts of work, because you recognize what is worth your time and what is not. You recognize there's like, it's like the equivalent of time management, but for your energy. 3333 was just on the time. So it's like the equivalent of that for you, that equivalent energy, and you're placing yourself in this and on this path. Like, it's all part of the journey, because it's like this, that's the realization that it is all part of the journey. And this is a more even give and take, like stepping outside of over giving, stepping into, receptivity as well. And I think that's where this offer comes from. This could be, I think this is more an offer potentially for work, but I think this is, I'm hearing envelope. I don't know. There could be an envelope coming for in the mail. I don't know. Maybe mail. But it's like there's something that this is an offer that is something that you're aware of now that you were not aware of before. This is this has to do with spiritual path, but it also has to do with, it's almost like I've heard it said before that this is like 3D teacher and then the Hermit is like 5D teacher. And I think that it's a really great way to capture this. But I think beyond that, this is also representative of the contracts that we can have with you know, institutions and systems in our lives, and how we choose to snuff out our light, or to like stoke it higher and wider, right? So, and that's not to say that institutions are antithetical to passion or anything like that, but there's just something about this energy here where it's like you're in inside integrity with yourself, and this is possibly about a new tradition for you. This is like building new traditions for you, but it's more related to I'm getting a lot of systems off of this. And like institutional anchors for beliefs and traditions that we have, and how you're kind of planting new ones. And this could be the seeds that you're planting that you don't even realize that you're planting. Maybe not, because I see this like Seven of Pentacles as being very immersed in your work. So, Spirit, can you tell me a little bit more about the Fool and the Three of Pentacles, please? And thank you so much. Whoa. Nine of Cups. Yeah. I feel like this is like, remember how I had that aside about power with these two cards here, where we're like, we're not challenging challenging some of the conceptualizations of power, but understanding our relationship and being in integrity in our relationship to ourselves, relating to that expression of power. This is like you coming out the other side of that good. This is you good with yourself. And I think that that's really important, because it's not just about tuning out voices or not listening to specific people, but it's understanding what it is in your vibration that's pulling those voices to you and making them loud enough to throw you into a Nine of Swords or a Ten of Swords, because that's the root cause, right? I don't like doing like, let's skim the surface, right? Because like that's great, but it doesn't really do much to address the causative factors that brought that energy into the first place, in the first place. And to go from a Nine of Swords to a Nine of Cups is substantial. So that's like, there's something here that was there's like patterns that have been broken, which is amazing. But in terms of that relationship to power, it's really important, because that also affects how we stand in our Leo. That affects how we stand in our fifth house and declare things, how comfortable we are with the power of our throat center, and how healed, not necessarily healed that is. I mean, healed, yes, on the one hand, but how open it is and how active it is and how much use we are giving it every day from our root center, from our sacral and solar plexus center, informed by the information and encoding in our heart space. How are all of these things talking together in this Nine of Cups? And congratulations is what I want to say. For it to go from the Nine of Swords here to the Nine of Cups, that is really, really good. On next week's episode of Motivation and Tarot, no, I'm kidding. Knight of Swords, Seven of Wands, and Eight of Cups. Yeah. It's like, it's all, you have to understand too, that this has all been part of the journey, right? Like it's like fight, flight, or flee. I just heard fight, flight, or flee. Ooh, or fawn. There's no fawning here, but that's a response to. Not a good one. I mean, it's not a good one in terms of like, let's judge people who do it. No, it's not a good one in terms of it doesn't really respect you, right? It doesn't leave much room for you, the you in things. So this Knight of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Eight of Cups, what I'm seeing here is this almost this like abiding sense of yourself, where it's like you're very clear on what you will and will not go after now. Like this is like goal energy, but this is also like where are you putting your energy and why? Who are you putting your energy into advocating for? Is that yourself? Do you include yourself in that equation? And what are we willing to walk away from because it's no longer serving us? So I think that's like it. This is like the story of your North Star, really. It might actually title the reading something to that effect. And that is what I think these choices, like your charge is to enlarge. These choices that you're making are how you're enlarging your energy and how you are sending it outward in a more fulsome way for yourself. And then step that aside. And that's the quantum leap. That's the quantum leap. So I think that today, at least, there's the makings of a quantum leap for you. I'm going to pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection by Mike Dooley. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? And thank you so much. Pucker up, Buttercup. I think this one came out earlier this week, too. Oh, my gosh. I feel like this is some energy of like, I'm hearing you are your best thing. You are your soulmate. And understanding that I mean, like, maybe you're gonna make out with yourself. I don't. It's interesting, but like, it's just like this. I don't know. My guides are ridiculous. Like, for just all the right and wrong reasons. But this, I get this energy of it's like you can feel something shifting. This is that. There's like a leap here, or there's an energy of things coming. But this is like storying your North Star, like storying that, storyboarding that. You are destined for greatness on the wings of love. Yeah. I don't think it's because of love. I think that it's because of you, that love, period. Does that make sense? Because of you, comma, that love. That's what this is telling the story of. You are destined for greatness on the wings of love, because the love that you cultivate in your life isn't just about romance. It's about self-respect. It's about integrity. It's about your relationship to your own power center and stepping back into that, and understanding that every opportunity, everything in your life is the facilitation of, it's like this co-conspirator, spirit guides and yourself come together in this beautiful way that you can't necessarily see, that invites you over and over into yourself. How deeply are you diving? How deeply are you diving? This reading is so long, oh my goodness, but I wanted to keep going, so it's fine. Peace is in my pulse. Yes, it is. It's kind of like a reminder of who you are. Like a reminder of who you are and what's most important to you. What's most important to you. When in doubt, I choose to see peace. Yep. It is a choice, right? Like, I can tell you, I've been through so much. It was like a lot. I feel like I've been through several lifetimes in one lifetime. And that's the point, right? Maybe that's the point. But it is a choice to see peace. And I think that when you aren't sure, when you're in this Two of Wands about yourself, that's where you need that peace most, because your peace doesn't come from outside of you. It doesn't come from when things are neat and tidy. It comes from inside you as it's like your locus. That's your center. So when you're in that peaceful center, it's not just about making decisions that make them quick and convenient, because peace is very inconvenient sometimes. It's very inconvenient because it pulls you into this place of awareness. And I think that is really, it's an awareness, I think, this is kind of the awareness of where you gave away your power. Maybe like you would fall into this place of like reflecting on things that people were telling you were in you when they weren't really in you. So it'd send you on this big journey, and your Queen of Wands would be like, hey, I'm right here this whole time. What? Like, I'm the fire. Like, listen, hey, like the Queen of Wands is trying to get your attention. So being in that energy, embodying that energy is quite important. So your charge is to enlarge. This is definitely like a North Star reading. That's for sure. Definitely. Prepare for a makeover. That's this card here. Quantum Leap. I don't know if you can see it. Quantum Leap. But that is your reading for today, my daily creatives, and what a reading. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel, and thank you so much for your eyes and your time. I am very appreciative that you are here, so thank you so very much. And if this is where we leave things, though, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very well, my lovelies. Have a wonderful day.